Right, good evening, everyone. It's Monday, February 23 at 6:35 p.m. Thanks to everyone who was able to meet online today due to the snow. I appreciate the effort. Got a pretty busy, unbusy actually, agenda tonight, but there's a few things that we just didn't want to let sit, so we'll get right to it. We can start with we'll start with reading mail, move on to department board updates and requests, then on to public input and members' updates, discussion.
Excuse me, Karen?
Yeah.
Your microphone is a little distorted. Is that coming in from everybody or just
me? Yeah, it's very distorted.
Wonder why.
Maybe you can unplug it, plug it back in, or just use the one that's built in.
Yeah, it's like you're underwater.
I can't. Matthew, do you want to continue and I'll see if I can work this out?
Sure. Can we start? Do we have mail, Jim?
Yes. So sorry. I will okay. Current vacancies, Madam Chairwoman, members of the Select Board. Current vacancies for the town boards appointed by the Select Board. We've got opportunities with the Agricultural Commission, Committee for the Exploration of Real Estate Tax Relief for Seniors, Economic Development Committee, Master Plan Implementation Committee, Permanent Municipal Building Committee, Personnel Advisory Committee, Sustainability Committee, Zoning Board of Appeals. Appointments by the town administrator. There is one opportunity for the Affordable Housing Trust, and an appointment by the Select Board and Planning Board. It's a joint appointment. There is one opportunity with the Select Board, and an appointment by a Littleton Electric Water and Light Department, and there's one opportunity in the Finance Committee. Sign up to receive public notifications for the town of Littleton. Scan the QR code to register or go to www.littletonma.org/subscribe. Community impacts, transportation issues, public safety activity, town meeting changes, town events, public health concerns. Stay informed. DPW is seeking snowplow contractors for the 25-26 winter season. Packets available at the DPW office at 39 Air Road on the DPW website, or call 978-540-2670 for information. Rates begin at $100 an hour up to $153 an hour, depending on equipment. Incentive sign-up bonus of $1,000. And here we've got need ice melt and sand mix. Get a bucket delivered free. Sand for seniors. It was the brainchild of the Littleton Elder and Human Services. If you need a free bucket of sand that will be delivered to your home for the seniors at 978-540-2470. What kind of government do you want for Littleton? Open house, Saturday, February 28th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Light refreshments provided at Littleton Town Hall, room 103. Learn what a town charter does and prepare for review at the fall town meeting. Hear progress to date, research observations, and emerging themes. Share your ideas, suggestions, concerns, or questions. Community input is essential to the process. Hosted by the Town of Littleton Charter Committee. Select Board office hours. And it continues to Mr. Rumbacher, Wednesday, February 25th, 4 to 6. Wednesday, March 25th, 4 to 6. Wednesday, April 22nd, 4 to 6. Wednesday, May 27th, 4 to 6. Wednesday, June 24th, 4 to 6. Littleton Robotics. Let me see. Here we have the 228. Okay. Littleton Robotics first robotics competition, team 6328 Mechanical Advantage is hosting an open house on Saturday. February 28th from 3 to 5 at 20 Harvard Road, Building D, on the Patriot Beverage Campus in Littleton. The students have been working hard since kickoff on January 10th to complete this year's robot by March 7th for their first competition. They would love to show you what they've been working on. Please feel free to forward the invitation to others as appropriate. Here we have the open house, February 28th, in the flyer. And that would be it, Madam
Great.
Chairwoman.
I think Karen also has office hours coming up on March 5th, correct?
Yep, March 5th, 9 to 11. Is this any better?
Yep.
Perfect.
Great. Let's go ahead and start with public input.
Oh, don't we have to do are we going to do the Elder and Human Services introduction, or did we skip that?
No, you're right. Is anybody from Elder and Human Services here?
Not that
I believe Liz is on the call as in the audience.
Okay. I see you, Liz. There we go.
Hi.
Thanks, Liz. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I just wanted to come on here tonight, and well, this is kind of twofold. I wanted to let you know that we have hired our first full-time office coordinator. Today was her first day. Her name is Shelby Morris, and she is Elder and Human Services' first full-time office coordinator. She's got over 15 years experience. She has certifications in tax preparation, and she's also worked in an assisted living, so she has a wealth of knowledge and information across all of the skill sets I was looking for, and she just seems like the total package. But the second part of why I'm coming on here tonight is I wanted to also thank you and the Finance Committee and the Personnel Advisory Committee as well for helping me through this process. I know that a mid-year hire is not the norm, and this has been a long process. So I just wanted to thank you for your commitment to my department and recognizing that increasing our capacity will not only help us staff, but also the community and broaden our reach. So thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you. It looked like a great hire, Liz. So welcome to Shelby, and we're looking forward to meeting her.
Thank you.
Thank you for your commitment to the town.
And heck of a first day.
True.
No, welcome. Thank you. We'll make sure we come by and visit.
Yep.
Great. Thank you.
Good to go.
Mark or Matthew, all set?
All set. Thank you, Liz.
All set.
All right. So now public input. For anybody who's in attendee mode, please raise your hand and I'll promote you if you, panelist, if you had something to say. All right. Seeing none, we can move on to members' updates. Matthew, I'll pick on you first.
I do not have any updates this week.
All right. Gary?
No, just let you know I don't even want to call it a subcommittee. It's not really a subcommittee. A group of us met regarding conversations around the compensation grid and a compensation plan to review the Collins Center's recommendations for that comp study. So we met actually earlier today virtually, and we're going to meet again later this week. So we're making progress with a goal of, having something to the select board over the next few weeks that we're going to at least be able to get on the Maytown meeting, and then there'll be more follow-on things probably to come throughout the year. But as far as having a compensation grid and plan set, we will be good to go. I think the board will will like what we come up with, hopefully. But that's about it for me. Thank you.
Mark?
I have very little. I attended the Clean Lakes meeting last week. They're very thankful for the select board and the water commissioners for their support that we've shown over the past year, and looking forward to see the season where they can start getting the herbicides and things applied. So that's all I have.
Great. Let's see, I attended the Sustainability Committee meeting on the 12th. The High School Environmental Club presented on sustainable seafood, which was very interesting and much appreciated. I heard from a couple different folks about a need for additional coordination between the town / DPW, the Conservation Department / Concom, the Select Board, the Conservation Trust. And so I think probably what we'll be trying to get started is having somebody, a designee from each of those different organizations, getting together to try to coordinate a little better on things like mowing schedules and invasive removal plans and that kind of thing. So I guess more to come there, but we'll be looking. I'll probably be bringing forward a request for someone or to volunteer for that.
I'll step up for that if no one else wants it.
Who's going to fight Mark for it?
I'm not going to fight him for it.
That would be great if you're willing, Mark. That'd be great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I understand a lot of the issues from where LCT and Conscom and everyone, the intersection. So
Yeah, that'd be really helpful. Thank you. And that's about all I had. So. Well, just a couple minutes behind schedule. Let's go ahead and move on to select board discussion. Matthew, you wanted the sale of the Orchard House on the agenda.
Yep. Couple items. One is we have discussed it as a board, and I believe that we were in agreement that we were okay with selling it, but I want to make sure that that is still the case. And the other one is I want to get permission for me or Jim or whoever to discuss an RFP for the house with town council. Because my understanding is that we do need to go to a town meeting in order to get it declared as surplus. So I guess let's address the first one. My sense was we all were in agreement that it would be wise to sell it, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, my opinion was, whatever ends up being best for the town. And obviously having the property as a whole, to me, future-wise, made sense. But I also understand the rigors that come with that house specifically. So I'd be interested to see what parameters we can put on it, and what that can become, and if it can somehow remain part of, the farming community to some degree, that would be fantastic, agriculturally. But so I am curious to see a little bit more before I'm just jump in with both feet, I guess, on a sale. And I know, I got beat down pretty hard on the orchard itself, that we don't make good landlords, but here we are. I think we've crafted a wonderful lease for a long time to come for that property, but I do recognize houses can be quite different. So I am definitely open to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Mark.
I'm also open to the sale. I think we need to pursue it. I think at some point we determined that if the town were to try and fix it up, it would be well over $1 million that we would have to spend to make it inhabitable at prevailing wage. we'd be better off just selling the house. If we can put restrictions on it, like on, you know, on the footprint, on the exterior, you know, historical wanted to put restrictions on it. If we wanted to put other restrictions on it to keep it in the farming community or prevent it from being expanded or torn down, you know, things like that. I think those are all valid things that we should feed into the RFP. But I do think we need to do something with the house. At this point, it's just costing us money and getting in and deteriorating. So,
So I guess I would be interested in hearing from everyone what kind of conditions you would like to see put on it. I think that Mark just just listed some very sensible ones. I think the footprint of it not changing. Obviously, it's going to be restricted by zoning to certain things, like we're not going to, you know, it is a multifamily, so I assume that means it could be turned into a condo situation, but that would be a planning board or a ZBA, Board of Appeals decision, perhaps. There was talk of a historical preservation restriction, and I know that the Historical Commission did a fair amount of research on that, and that's a possibility. So I think none of us particularly wants to see that house bulldozed and a new house built, for example. I would not be in favor of that. So that at the very minimum, we would need to put that kind of restriction on it. But are there other things that any of you would like to bring up now that I can talk to town council about?
Couple specifics on the size of the lot that we're talking about with the house. What was the?
I believe it's around 3 acres. I could look on GIS and see.
Yeah, that sounds right, if I recall from previous.
it's not that big. I thought it was more like an acre and a half, but I don't.
It could be. Yeah,
It's not a very big footprint because most of the land is part of the APR. I do have a question on the process we want to do on this, because if we have to go to town meeting, then we have to put puts a warrant article out there. Do we want to have an RFP ready to go for town meeting? Do we want to have input sessions for the public to what they would like to see in the RFP before or after town meeting? I just trying to figure out what our timeline is for all the moving pieces. If to get acceptance or wider approval for what we want to do.
Yeah.
Sure. So I would love to get this into the upcoming Springtown meeting.
Yeah.
It may not be possible. If I start working with town council immediately, it's possible that we could get a warrant article drafted at least to declare it surplus. And I don't know, I will have to talk to town council, or maybe Jim, you know, whether the RFP has to follow that surplus declaration, or can it be at the same time? Do you know?
One article can follow the other, I guess.
Well, the RFP isn't an article.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right. It could be at the same, it could be either.
Okay. So we could issue an RFP prior to town meeting, for example.
I don't think we can.
No, I'm sorry. No, you can't do it beforehand. You have to declare it surplus first. But we'll have the RFP drafted from the conversations that the select board wants to, with all the conditions put on it. We can do that.
Okay. Okay,
Sorry.
great.
Right, so we have a little bit of time.
Not much, but yeah. So I guess in a perfect world, we would work on the RFP, which would help define the article at town meeting. And then after the town meeting article passes with a huge majority, we would then issue the RFP. And I know we already have interested parties who have been, asking me about when it's going to become available. So I suspect that we will get respondents to that RFP immediately, and then we can discuss the next steps after that.
I feel like we probably need to have some public input sessions prior to going to town meeting, though.
Yeah.
I think there's probably a lot of information we were able to gather when we were doing the property itself. I think there was a lot of public input in regards to the house, I know is attached to some of those discussions. So I don't know how much more, if you think there's more value to come, I mean, no one's going to say they want a high-rise building there or anything. So I mean, we kind of know the parameters that the public's looking for, and a lot of it's the same we're discussing, but if you think we have time to put it out there again, I mean, people at town meeting will also have a voice, but
Sure.
I
think for some, I think it's reasonable to think that folks might have a different take now that we have somebody installed in the orchard. That sort of changes the whole situation, really.
Yeah.
That's true.
If we could get some input, I think that would be best.
I think that it would probably be smart to do some public sessions, and I'm happy to coordinate those. I think we should probably do it fairly close to town meeting, as that's when there will be interest about it. Like, if we could even have one after the warrant is delivered, like within 2 weeks of the meeting, I think that would be when people would be more likely to show up, because they would be aware of they would be aware of the article. But I would also be happy doing a couple, like one, a month, 6 weeks ahead of town meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In terms of the footprint, I would be okay with the footprint changing to some extent.
Off the road a little bit.
Restriction is there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, if somebody wants to add on another kitchen or something like that we should, I don't think that should preclude somebody from moving forward, personally. I'm all for restrictions. I just want to be careful of too many restrictions.
Just for reference, the size of the lot, the portion of that lot which is non-APR restricted with the house on it is 1.17 acres.
Okay.
That whole corner of the farm is 9.2. And then there's another 3 that's not in the APR. I think it's the wetlands at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is there any parking there?
There's a driveway, and there's some parking. Like, you can park to the lake side of the house, and then in the back of the house below it, there's a big flat grassy spot where the goats used to be.
Okay.
The donkey.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess next steps is I will contact town council and discuss with them the method for generating an RFP and the process for defining what's in the warrant article. And I guess I'll try to see if I can have something for the next meeting, and I may or may not, depending on town council's availability.
If I may, through the chair.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew, you may want to coordinate with, have Tony part of that conversation.
Okay.
With being an MCPPO, and he can coordinate with Kim in terms of having us drafted in-house.
Okay.
The boilerplate stuff, and
Okay.
just to make it easier, and you just to keep it going.
Sure.
quicker.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll start there then. That's great.
Okay, great, thank you.
I think that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, we'll move on to the removal of snow on sidewalks discussion. Steve Youngley, I see you're here. I'm going to give you the mic as well, but I just wanted to preface this by saying that I had requested this to be added to the agenda. I think that this winter has shown that as the town is growing and as sidewalks are becoming, more and more common, I think we need to start maybe rethinking our approach to sidewalk snow removal in particular. I think Steve had earlier mentioned that we should also consider our approach to private ways. And so as sort of part of that overall discussion, I wanted to sort of just open up a discussion on sidewalks and the snow removal there. So I had asked through Jim, for Steve to, provide some input on, you know, what we might, reasonably consider is the cost of sidewalk snow removal, and where it's seen as, you know, vitally important. For example, you know, I think everyone would agree that we need snow removal on the sidewalks around the schools so that kids can walk safely. But you know, there's several areas that aren't necessarily connected to anything else but themselves, so to speak. And so to me, that's a prime place to start questioning, you know, whether this is something we want to continue. Steve,
Okay.
could you sort of expand a little bit?
I don't know if you've seen or kind of listened to
Can't hear you, Steve.
Yeah.
I get my headphones in.
Probably a fake background. He's probably in a snowplow right now.
You're probably right.
You hear me now?
Yeah. For some reason, my AirPods wouldn't work earlier either.
Technology.
Right.
All right, can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Come in last minute here, moving some snow around. So I don't know if you've seen the list of sidewalks that I put together. Forwarded it to Jim a few days ago or whatever, a week ago. That sort of listed what I thought for primaries, and then some secondary sidewalks that I thought we should do because they have significant connectivity to business areas or other main sidewalks. And then truly a list of, as Karen just said, the outliers, you know, the neighborhood or the cul-de-sac that has no connectivity to anything else. Tried to boilerplate, put a cost to it. It's tough because, you know, as the board knows, everybody knows, every storm is different. You know, you get a heavy storm, it's going to take a little longer. You get light fluffy snow, it can go a little quicker. If it's, you know, 4 inches of light fluffy snow, we can do it with plows. If it's heavy wet snow, we got to do it with snow blowers. You know, so there's a lot of variables to it. But truly, I think we need, you know, it's something that should be considered cutting back because I'm driving the equipment, you know, to a cul-de-sac up at the end of Whitcomb Ave that has to do a sidewalk just because it has a sidewalk. And I don't think that's necessarily the way we should be going. The community I came from, we did not do that. We had, you know, primaries and secondaries that we did, but we weren't traveling, you know, to outlying neighborhood cul-de-sacs to do removal on sidewalks. It just wasn't a thing. So, I mean, I can speak to the roads that I think are primaries. Obviously, King Street, Great Road, New Estate, Goldsmith, Russell Street, and then, you know, around the Common, Stevens, Meeting House, sure, you know, Taylor Street, King Street Extension, which is just the short piece of King Street between what used to be the car wash and the depot. Eventually, we will do the new path on Foster Street. It's still under construction. I know there's been a lot of hullabaloo on the Facebooks and stuff that we don't do it, but it's still under construction. We will, no transitions are done. So we plan on doing that next year once the construction is complete. And then some of the secondaries, I'm sure I missed a street in there. I'm doing this off the top of my head. Some of the secondaries are around like the Baldwin Hill neighborhood, where you can get up in there and get through Loxley and George, which connects over to Goldsmith. But then, some of the outliers, the Whitetail, Colburn, Bluebird, Edwards, some of those are like Colburn, for instance, goes from Hartwell to Great Road. The street's relatively wide. There's no sidewalks on Great Road. There's no sidewalks on Hartwell. Why am I driving all the way over there in a machine that's not exactly easy to traverse down the street to do a sidewalk that doesn't go anywhere? So there's a handful of that. And plus with the other thing to consider is, these are what I would call like a planning board subdivision. They have a slope curb, be it asphalt or granite, 2-foot grass strip, 4-foot sidewalk. My equipment is 52 inches wide at the smallest. So I'm wider than the sidewalk is. So inherently I'm doing damage, which then I get the call to come, fix lawn. We blew out some irrigation heads, that type of thing. If it's soft, if we have frost, I'm not going to do terrible amount of damage, but there's still, again, my equipment is wider than the sidewalks. So, like I said before, the community I came from has almost 60 miles of sidewalk. We did 26 of that, and it took 3 to 4 days, depending on the storm. And if you continue to get repetitive storms, it's you rinse and repeat, you start all over again. So the goal is to prioritize business areas, school areas where people are actually going to walk.
Makes sense to me. I think we talked about it's roughly 10 miles of primary.
Yep, it's something like that.
Yeah. And then not nearly as much. It was like almost half of that was sidewalks that you didn't think, we should be doing.
Yeah, when you totaled it out, it was, I think, a little under 18 miles total.
Okay.
So then between the primaries and kind of that other area that I think we probably should do because of the connectivity, we got to almost 11. So is there something to be said for, possibly doing a small stretch in some of those neighborhoods? Like once we do the Foster Street piece, do we turn and just go up Balsam and stop and not do the rest of the neighborhood? Like Great Road, we come up to Cooper Farm. Do we just get down into Cooper Farm, whatever it is, a few hundred feet, just so people can get up to the main road?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the fact to be going around in through full neighborhoods is just, I think it's a little much.
Yeah, I think we should have had a policy on this a long time ago. Well before us. But we're only going to grow. This is only going to it's not going the other way ever. So this can be a living document. The question is, can this rest in a select board policy where we determine this is our sidewalk district, our primary sidewalk district, which can grow. If we get new businesses or whatever, we obviously can add a street here, add a length there, and take away communities that don't make sense anymore. I don't know that. I like the idea. I think it's not a sustainable thing. Just continue to do what you're doing. It doesn't, and it takes away from other work that you need to be doing for an area that might only, affect a few homes, and then, you've got other areas that aren't being tended to appropriately. And this winter really highlights it. And I know you get beat up on Facebook about, I could probably go on Facebook now, there's people complaining you don't have a sidewalk though. But no, I'm all for some type of a policy, more discussion to be had on the primaries. I think this board, I'd like to hear the police or fire chime in on, maybe they have some sensitivity areas where they might say, we really appreciate it if this area could be done because of, assisted living type things, but you pretty much already have that covered. But yeah, I'm all for creating a policy that we can all vote on, and something that we can, I would say, vote on every year, as this body can vote on it every year, on whether we're going to keep it the way it is, or people can petition certain areas, or maybe, Steve, you come to us and say, it might be time to take this one off. It just doesn't make any sense anymore. Maybe, so that's my 2 cents, I guess.
So I wouldn't want to vote on them every year, because then I think it gets to be much more political. But I think there has to be a way of people petitioning for theirs to be added, or for hearings for them to be removed, type things. I did have some other questions for Steve, though. Like in your other community, were there requirements on homeowners clearing sidewalks in front of their house, or if it was, because I know like in Cambridge and places, the residents are responsible and you get fined potentially if you don't clear them. So I'm just wondering if we need something further than just, if we're not doing it, then someone has to do it, or we're just hoping they do it.
Yeah. So, again, in Chelmsford, there was no, we did the 3 strikes and you're out rule. We did what we did, and it was tried, multiple times to get the other like neighborhood sidewalks that I speak of to give the whatever 24 or 48 hour requirement to do them. And it was defeated soundly every time. So we just did what we did. And those neighborhood sidewalks just sat untouched.
Okay. So I think I think we have to be very careful then what we declare a primary and a secondary, right? Because I think even just picking on Foster Street, it's kind of hard to say why it's a primary for, a sidewalk versus if there was a sidewalk on Harwood where you might not consider it I mean, it's going to be much trickier to have more sidewalks than fewer sidewalks.
Well, Mark, when you look at the breakdown, like Harwood, I would consider a primary, right? It's a main road. Foster Street, obviously, the new, we do the lower section by the firehouse.
The MBTA.
Takes you up to the intersection at Tehadawon.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the new section is completed over the summer, up at the other end, you have all the businesses in the train station. And then we have sidewalk newly installed a year or two ago down Taylor Street that gets you to the Amazon warehouse. And a lot of people do walk that. So eventually you start filling in the gaps, and those would be main roads. When I'm talking about neighborhood sidewalks, I'm talking, like I said earlier, Colburn,
Mm-hmm.
Bluebird, Edwards. Why am I going to do a cul-de-sac?
Yeah, okay, then we just have to have a really good definition of what we're calling a main road on these. I would also expand a little bit beyond potentially what you're just defining. I know you're probably going to say that Goldsmith is a main road, but I would also say anywhere that there's a crosswalk, we probably have to make sure we clear.
Yep.
You might not have to clear the sidewalk, but this crosswalk should be cleared, right?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and to that, on the breakdown I did, that had all of those crosswalk areas. It had Loxley or George were the roads that come out to the crosswalks. So we would be doing those, and then obviously, I know the sidewalk on Goldsmith kind of jumps side to side a little bit, so make sure all that's cleared as well.
And then there's the other sidewalks to nowhere, like down by Bruce Street, that no one will ever clear. If we don't clear them, we have to really kind of decide.
Yep.
what we're doing with those, and those are also in a completely isolated area now too.
Right, and of course, we decide to do them and then the gas station closes.
Yeah. So
Can I ask, how many miles do you do now versus how many miles of primary would it be?
18 now and a 10.
Yeah,
10 or
10 and a
11
half-
now,
10
10 or
and a
11
half.
primary?
yep.
Okay. So you're talking about roughly cutting it in half, but I assume that it would actually be more time savings for you because it wouldn't be driving out to the far-flung reaches of whatever and plowing those sidewalks. Okay. I mean, can you give us any kind of ballpark figure on what it costs to sidewalk plow a mile?
Yeah. That was in that email as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have missed that. Okay,
Um,
I'll check it out.
it says, let's see.
And again, I was trying to like boil a plate it because not
Yeah,
every storm's the same.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 2 operators, $60 per hour straight time, 2 machines with snow blowers, on with no break, $60 per hour, 18 hours to complete all, 18 hours at 120 an hour. So there's the math.
Okay. Well, plus wear and tear on the machines. all
Yeah,
that
there's a lot
replacement.
to it.
They're
Yeah,
not cheap. I know. They've seen them on the Capitol.
Yeah. I
spreadsheet.
mean, this isn't entirely about cost to me. I mean, it definitely is a number that's just going to keep getting harder to chase, but it's more about what makes sense. And that's kind of where I was going with look at, if it's not once a year we're at least having this reviewed, as needed for certain.
If I may, to Steve's point, I mean, it's a standard industry of you identify your commerce, with your downtowns, you clear that snow out. Typically, that's usually done off hours, and then you look, making sure that you have sidewalks going to the schools. So that is the standard practice in municipalities that I've been in. Absolutely. One of which there were fines associated with it if the sidewalk wasn't cleared out in front of people's homes. And there were a number of different challenges that was brought that everyone was faced with. Seniors, elderly, people are away, snowbirds, and so there's all those type of things. But if you don't want to go into plus you have who's going to be responsible for the fines, who's going to hand those out. So if you just want to just identify just the areas you're going to that DPW will clear, I think that makes complete sense, and that's standard operating procedure now in communities.
I think we can come up with a list of criteria, and then Steve can present, okay, these are the roads that meet those criteria that you've already set forth. And we can, if anybody has any questions, they can present them, but I agree we probably don't need to approve it every year, road by road, but we should come to some sort of consensus about what criteria we're applying so that everyone can understand what the expectations are.
Yeah.
I agree.
A business district, downtown district, things like that, school district. So this is something that we could probably have for next year that'd be the plan, Steve? That's what you were thinking? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm
Not
committed,
tomorrow.
right, wrong, or indifferent for this year, right? Yeah, do it tonight, then I can skip some. But yeah, we're committed for this year, so we do what we do, and then my hope is continue to the discussion for into next year.
I think I don't think we need to do anything with town meeting unless we wanted to go in the direction of some sort of enforcement mechanism and some sort of deadline.
Right. It's just a policy.
Otherwise, it's just policy, and we can take as long as we need to make sure we get it as right as we can.
But I do think there's a legitimate statement, which is like, if the town isn't going to plow my sidewalk, why are you punishing me for not plowing my sidewalk? Like, if we're talking about enforcement on.
Yeah, I don't believe in that.
Okay. Good.
I'm not for it.
I'm curious what enforcement we're talking.
Well, I don't know. Like, look at the communities that we're talking about that typically have that. You're talking very dense house by house by house communities where it's mixed with industry and business and home. We're not remotely designed as a town like that, and probably won't be anywhere in the near future. So,
but so what are we talking about for enforcement? Like, what are we enforcing? That's what I don't understand.
In theory, some communities have, you're responsible for clearing your snow within 6 hours of the end of snowfall for all adjacent properties that you own.
Right. And I'm saying that's a non-starter for me. If
I agree.
If we're not going to commit to plowing the sidewalk, I am not going to hold anyone responsible for shoveling their sidewalk. Right. I mean, if it's a secondary or a not even on the list, like, why are we concerned about it?
Yeah. Okay.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, we don't need to. I think we can just make a policy, have some public input on it, and make it a select board policy.
And then all the people that are on the sidewalk streets that won't be plowed will run for select board. That's all.
As it should be.
It's a good way to stimulate people.
I mean,
I think Durkee Farm is on the top of the list of. So.
I mean, I think we all know we're going to hear about this.
Certainly.
Because no matter where we draw the line, the first person who doesn't get their sidewalk plowed is going to be understandably upset, especially if it's already been happening.
Yeah.
Change is hard. And, but I think it's just, we need to level set expectations to something that, is reasonable for where we are and where we're planning to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I'm good on the sidewalk discussion, but while we have Steve here, I was going to ask, when you presented the list of private ways, you mentioned taking them off in the future, and I didn't know if that's something that we were planning to do I believe that's got to go through town meeting.
That does.
And I didn't know if we were trying to do that for May or we wanted to do that in November.
So, to that, I started preparing a similar type of breakdown towards the end of last week in regards to the private streets. It is a board policy, but I know there was a town meeting vote at some point thrown in the mix.
Yeah.
With it, so I voted no at town meeting, just for the record. But I guess maybe we need some clarification from council on how to proceed with that. But I will, over the next couple of days, have a similar breakdown that shows the miles that we do, and again, kind of a boilerplate cost, just so everybody can kind of get a general idea of what we're doing.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that has to go to town meeting. So we just have to pick whether we probably want to do that in the May town meeting rather than October, November, when you're getting ready to have to do this all over again for next year, right?
Yeah, we need to get time to plan.
I think the sidewalk one initially
the sidewalk one we can do over the summer on our own. That's a policy, but the private ways is a town meeting thing. So we just need to start figuring that one out. And we mentioned before whether or not it would be possible if we are going to, if we're not going to plow them by default, if we could do them and, basically on a per fee basis, right? So we might want to consider whether we can do that or not too at the same time. I don't know if, and then, or not. That's probably up to what Steve's manpower and things are, but it might be a transition plan for people too.
Yeah, so again, that might be a question for council, because I know we can do work on private ways if reimbursed for the cost of the work or something. In my career, we didn't do anything because you were spending public funds on private property, which is generally a no-no. So again, might be worth reaching out to council to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Okay, so Jim, are you going to drive this one, or?
Love to.
Thank you.
If you want help with it, Jim, I'll be the liaison if you want.
Happy to work on it as well.
Right. More the merrier.
I will not work on it.
Yeah, Matthew and I are on private roads, so.
Oh, that way. Yeah.
I recuse myself from work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very convenient.
Yep.
I just want to make sure we added it as a placeholder if we were thinking about doing it. So
That's
Yeah.
a good call.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So I think May is better if we can get it done.
I agree.
Let's try to
They have a month.
what can't town council do in a month?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Stay safe out there.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Thanks to all the team. Mr. Town Administrator. Do you have an update for us? Currently, you're on mute.
Right. I think you muted everybody.
Did I?
Sorry. All right. In any event. Okay. Real quick, I just wanted to, speaking of DPW, they have done an outstanding job around town today. And thank you to Chief McCurdy and the team there. They hosted the drivers to drop by for pizza at their convenience to take a rest and to catch up on just talking with fellow employees. So that was fantastic. Also want to thank everybody for, when I say everybody, I'm talking Dr. Clinchy, we're talking Alicia, Sam at the library, and Liz for EHS for hosting, offering to host individuals when town hall was not open to the public because of the fire panel. And so there were some team members that took the opportunity to work out of some other town buildings, while the remainder worked remotely, and worked out very, very well, and very appreciative, tremendously. And it was great to see everyone just jumping in and lending support for everybody. Just a fantastic, fantastic team. Just wanted to update the select board we are coordinating, the internal team is coordinating to meet with DOT and Lepoli's group in regards to the on-street parking at on 550 King Street, and to continue that discussion, and any meetings going forward with DOT with anything like that. The town will also be a part of that, and Marin is going to be the point of contact with DOT to make sure that we are involved with any of those meetings. The fire panel is up and it has been installed at Town Hall. That is just the first step of multiple areas that need to be improved. The panel a new panel is in place. So what we are going to be doing going forward is really looking at all of the strobes that are in the ceiling for fire and for those sensors. Those will have to be replaced also over the course of time. There's no urgency that has to be done within the next month, but it'll be something that will be a plan of attack on a steady way going forward with facilities manager. And last but not least, we will be meeting with his internal team with Dr. Clenchy. Alicia and myself will be closing the loop on identifying people, as the select board wanted to continue to offer a family room and some oversight for some children activities during town meetings. We are going to continue that. We've identified a funding source to be able to pay individuals to do that. And we are working internally to streamline the town meeting, and between Diane Quarry with the town clerk, town council, a number of different team members are involved in that we started for the last town meeting, which worked really, really well for streamline things and have one point of contact for certain things. So it was good, and that's it.
When can we hear about the results of the survey?
That's two other things. The survey, Tony, and also please share with the select board what starts Wednesday night.
Yes, thank you. So survey was actually working on it this morning, compiling the all the data together. So probably another day or two just to get all the individual comments tabulated and again, putting all that together. So should have it out very soon to share with you all.
Great.
And Wednesday is the Civic Leadership Academy. So this is the kickoff Wednesday at 6. And if anyone is still interested, they're also welcome to apply. I will double check that list tomorrow morning as well. So looking forward to that very much. So very excited for that.
You have a lot of.
Oh.
Yeah. Go ahead, Karen.
Oh, how many folks do we have enrolled, Tony?
So we have 3 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. That's great. Thank you. For the survey, could we have some sort of and nothing extensive, but some sort of written summary, sort of?
Yes.
So that and we can post it to the website so that folks who want to see, what came of this, they can see what the results were.
Absolutely. It's about trying to make sense of all of it, right?
Right.
And so yeah, I will have certainly something like that put together for you guys.
Great. Thank you.
Jim, on the 550, we had at one point we were talking about whether to make King Street and Great Road town roads rather than state roads. Have we abandoned that for the time being, or?
No. The DOT is they're open to it. They're open to having the discussion if this is something the town wants to pursue. Their position was very clear at the most recent meeting with them. They consider they're not adaptable to. There's no parking on a state highway, and whether it's 495 or 110 or 119, they're all considered state highways. They have a blanket issue of there's no parking like that, especially during inclement weather. So their tough part of that is going to be, all right, if it remains a state road and there's on-street parking there, then we have to coordinate with the town on who's responsible to, so there's no overnight parking there. There's whether it be a parking ban or something like that, there's no on-street parking. But they're open to the conversations of maintaining it as a state road, but allowing the on-street parking, or going the other way of identifying a certain parts of the road to allow the town for care, custody, and control.
There's on-street parking on the state road on the other side of the traffic light, so. I just was wondering which way I know we were talking about putting the parking there. I didn't know if we were doing that instead of taking over the road or in addition to taking over the road.
I don't think we're not necessarily putting parking in though, right? That's just a point of discussion.
Right.
Yeah.
Assessing, right?
And I know that the planning board is they're pretty strong about having that on-street parking in front of 550.
Sorry, they want it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So hence that's why we're having the discussion. It was really an avenue that, hey, let's have on-street parking because they think that, and we heard that in West Acton, this is what the portion of the road was abandoned by DOT, and they were able to do that on-street parking there.
Yeah, it works well there, so I will say.
So, but that will continue. We'll continue to. So we're looking to have that meeting later on this week, with DOT again and Lapoli, and continue to have the conversations.
Okay, and on replacing the strobes, do we know approximately how much that's going to cost?
No, not yet. Nope.
We're keeping a running tab.
Running tally.
ADA purposes, right?
Correct. Yep, that's it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mark, was there something else you had?
Nope, that's good.
Okay. All right, let's look at the minutes. I saw one or two little things. I need to see which, if it's the first set or the second set. Okay, so if we have February 7th and February 9th, is that right?
Yep.
All right, any concerns about February 7th?
No.
I didn't have anything from the 7th. Okay, so February 9th. We have under section 3, Karen thanked all the employees, blah, blah, blah. And then the last line, policy on ICE, and has reviewed other town policies. That needs to be capitalized since we're dealing with all sorts of ICE policies right now. So, as I recall, it was the capital I, capital C, capital E ICE in this case.